welcome to Bulls and Red, your go-to RB Leipzig podcast. We're broadcasting straight from the heart of Leipzig, and we bring you the latest buzz from the club, the fan base, and our vibrant city. Whether you're near or far, this is your ultimate home for all things RB Leipzig. Stay tuned, stay passionate, and let's ride the Rasenballsport wave together. And let's welcome the brain of the podcast, Mr. Richard. How are you tonight?
Wow, Mario, I do not remember any more enthusiastic welcoming of our audience. Thank you. I'm fine.
Brilliant. I'm glad to hear it. Well, today we have our weekly episode, everything about Rasenballsport and RB Leipzig in our city and fan base, and we like to bring you up to speed with a couple of things that are happening around here and that you don't necessarily see on the telly. But we're going to talk about the encounter versus St. Pauli from last weekend. And there is a new jingle following RB Leipzig's goal scorer. And one is a little bit contentious because it's in German. And I'll explain that a little bit later. It caused a little bit of uproar in discussion around the RB Leipzig community. There was also a discussion about the minimum usage of season tickets, which entitle you to purchase another season ticket the season after, and we'll talk about that. And there is an exclusive press conference for maybe people like me who are going to these games on a regular basis. And we'll also be looking maybe at a positive solution for getting more noise out of the Sector D. I'll come to that a little bit later. That's going to be followed by the Gegnercheck, our next opponent. It's quite close. FC Augsburg is tomorrow. And of course, we're going to have Richard's starting 11. So let's go. Let's look back at last weekend. Of course, last weekend we had the honor of welcoming FC St. Pauli. And remember you, Richard, I think you predicted a 2-0 win and a penalty. It didn't matter if the penalty was converted or not. You were right about the score, but not about the penalty. Hey, but we got a red card. Unfortunately, our captain, Willi Orban, had to leave the pitch. He's not going to be present in our squad on Friday. All in all, I remember, both of us were in the stadium. We were pleased about the win, and we, of course, were pleased about the way the team was fighting. But we're wondering, where have they hidden the speedy way of playing, the high press, the style that we love? It hasn't returned, has it, Richard? What do you say about that?
Yeah, absolutely. It was just circling the ball around in our own half. I spotted more often than I liked 5-6 players in our own half and the St. Pauli players. So, well, at least in the first 45 minutes, did not intend to go for the ball in the opposites part of the pitch, and so we had a lot of time ball possession, but we're absolutely not able to do something productive with it. It was just like east to west and not north to south, so to speak. And it's quite it's not that surprising that our very first shot on target was the 1-0. And it came by a counter-attack. And the second shot on goal was the 2-0 lead. And I think it took us until the 80-something minute until our third shot on goal. And you told me after the game that you spotted something that what the St. Pauli keeper, Nicola Vasil, did. So he kept himself warm.
That was embarrassing. It was around the 60th minute, and you must have seen on television as well if you followed it. He kept himself warm. He was running up and down the pitch as if he was getting ready to start the match. And I know it was really cold. It was freezing temperature in the stadium in Leipzig. And that just meant, just confirms your thesis and your theory that, we only had 3 shots on goal during that period of time. 2 were actually goals, so that's quite effective. But on the other hand, St. Pauli had some big chances, especially in the first 5 minutes. They should have been up 2-0, and just before halftime, the ball which hit the cross, it was our own player, wasn't it? Kind of directed there. Hit Gulaschi, our goalie, and then back to the post and out. It was just strange. So we couldn't have complained if they had been 3-1 up at halftime, something like that. And But in the second half, I think RB Leipzig was a little bit better, but never really convincing the way we would like to see it. They just were very effective, weren't they?
Absolutely. We're not where we should be, and we are not where we once were. So this playing style is just poor, and it ain't got nothing to do with top side Bundesliga football. And to be honest, you're absolutely right. No one could have complained about conceding like 1 or 2 goals, but we talked about in our preview episode about the weaknesses of the St. Pauli squad, and that they're just so poor in scoring goals for themselves is not just accidentally. It's there for a reason, and it's because and you saw it when Eggestein had his chances, and when Saad had his chance, and even I think this late shot came by Hauke Wahl from the backfield late in the second half. Well, Gulaschi had to make some saves, but if you look at them closely and in replay and on tally, and you recognize that those shots were like from a point blank range. There was this header from Irvine, and there was header from Eggestein just a few minutes later. And Gulaschi made some, spectacular saves in first sight. But if you look closely, well, the efforts were just poor. Nowhere close to the post, nowhere close to the crossbar. And the shot from Hauke Wahl that came from like 25 meters away was just not hard enough, and not just with this enough amount of accuracy and precision to find the back of the net. And so, but with that performance that we showed defensively against a squad with a little bit amount of a stronger offense performance or more individual skilled offensive players, there would have been goals conceded. And that's pretty concerning.
Yeah, and one of the sacrifices were done by Willy Orban, our captain, who stopped a St. Pauli player and supposedly was the last man standing, so to speak, or last man in line. That's why he got the red card, second time this season. So we will be missing him a lot in tomorrow's match. The interesting part is as well, and the interesting reaction is, and something we posted on social media as well, is that scene when Willy Orban leaves the pitch and he's getting standing ovations from the people. So I thought that was quite a great moment, and a great moment to capture as well. And just shows how much he's appreciated over here, and how much we know and how much we value him. I hope, and I'd like to think, that the team is going to fight really hard, extra hard, to trying to compensate for him not being there in tomorrow's match. But I'm sure they will do. So, on the other hand, RB Leipzig had some chances when counter-attacking the last 15-20 minutes when Openda came on, and Openda seemed to have most shots on goal from everybody during the whole match. And there you could see a glimpse why St. Pauli has the second best defense of the league, and they defended that quite well. But at the end, we got the 2 points. We are in 4th position for now. That race is tight, will remain tight. And, well, it was great to be there. Atmosphere was great. And let's look forward to the next one. But there was one thing that happened during that match. Češko scored the first goal, and everything was normal. Listen to that. You might have noticed that in the background there was a little sound, and that kind of startled. I was puzzled about that at first, but I thought, hey, maybe there's something wrong with the acoustic. We have some technical problems. Can happen, even in Germany. Not everything is perfect over here. And sure, it was revealed that, hey, following that celebration, we were supposed to celebrate again. Listen to this. German we say, das ist der Rhythmus, bei dem man mit muss. That's just the beat that you have to follow. It's the typical German style of Schlager music, and the whole thing was in German. The nice thing is the lyrics are in German, and they pick up what the fans actually created in the normal, when they play Freed from Desire, we sing Leipzig on Fire, Rasenballsport mein Verein, Rasenballsport is my club, so to speak, loosely translated. But they started this the first time, and people were wondering, what the heck is this? It was after the normal goal celebration, so we were concentrating on the game again. The game continued, and they came up with this. So there was quite a bit of discussion on social media, in some fellow podcasts of our fan podcasts of RB Leipzig. And I don't know, the sentiment is people don't like it. They don't really approve it. There's an official statement of RB Leipzig stating that they always work to improve the experience that people have in the stadium of Leipzig. And this is one of them. It gets people animated and they can party. But we think, my impression is, you can overdo it. Because this tune, Freed from Desire, is played. And then it's a sort of routine now before the match. You know, when the team's warming up and they're just about to finish, they come to the Sector Bay, the crowd of the homestand, so to speak, clap their hands, people are chanting, and they start this tune, which is okay. But even then, people feel, okay, we heard this for a long time and too often, because when this whole thing started, it was really people only started chanting this when RB Leipzig was scoring 2-3 goals in a row. It was sort of a celebration to celebrate some extraordinary match and the way the match goes. But now I think it's maybe overdone, and then they changed this to this celebrating the when somebody scored for RB Leipzig. It used to be James Brown, I feel good, for many, many years, and I must admit I'm still a fan of that. They changed that, and supposedly Freed from Desire is something that the team wanted, so they switched to that. Okay, I think we kind of got used to it, but now to top it with this German version, I think it's just a tad too much. So I hope I was able to explain that to everybody who lives abroad, who's not over here, who's never been or has been to that match. This is what's going on over here in the stadium in Leipzig. And Richard, I'm not sure if you're a fan of that. What did you think when they started playing that? Because I shouted, what the hell is this?
Well, it was just irritating. I didn't expect that, and I was like, okay, what the hell is that? And yeah, I felt pretty much like you described it right now. And to be honest, this is just embarrassing. It is embarrassing. And I think someone wrote on social media, I don't know who it was and where it was, but it was like, hey, to the club, something like, okay, you know, this tune was cool as long as the fans created it and the fans shouted it. And when we were up 3-0 and this chant comes spontaneously from the stands, and as long as this was cool. But it started to get annoying as soon as it was established as a part of the pre-game warm-up, so to speak. So, 15 minutes to kick off, and it's always this song, and everyone raises their scarves, and the crowd is singing, and but on the other hand side, to me, this is annoying as well. But on the other hand side, like 90% of the people in the stands are participating in the celebration, and so I'm like, okay, I'm a democratic guy, and if the majority likes it, okay, I have to deal with that. But I think now this is just, they just crossed the line. Yeah, in some kind of way. And please, the club, if you listen to us, and come on, just get rid of it. And I'm not sure how to feel for the upcoming home match.
You don't want to see any goals by RB Leipzig.
It's just like, hopefully they don't score something, so I don't have to listen to this bullshit. But on the other hand side, I'm like, okay, maybe they should score, because I want my team to win, and then hopefully I get a surprise, and the club just recognized that it was not the best idea that they had in mind in the last years, and just canceled it before it's everyone get used to it.
Anyway, when the 2-0 was actually scored, they started the celebration again, but they left out the new one. Now, I'm not sure why. I'm not sure if they thought it was embarrassing and they shut it down, or somebody told them, guys, when the match has started, you better shut that music down or else. So I guess it's the latter part, probably. I don't know. We will find out. Hopefully on the 23rd of Feb when we play. Who's coming? I forgot. Heidenheim. I'm so sorry. We will find out. We will see. And also the reaction. It's going to be interesting. So, yeah, we thought we'd share this little story with you. And I'd like to come to another point, and that is the point of a new rule that has been introduced, towards the end of last season and this season for season ticket holders. In order for you to be eligible for purchasing another season ticket for the next season, you have to attend 10 Bundesliga home matches per year. There are 17. You have to be present at 10 of them. And if you can't make it, if you can't attend, you're allowed to transfer your ticket to somebody else with an email address. So then they got the data, so that's fine. But if you put it on sale in the Ticket Börse, which is another platform where you can sell those tickets to anybody who's registered there at a slightly higher price, but you don't benefit from it. Only RB Leipzig and an admin fee and some other fee, which they will invent. That doesn't count. And last week, there were emails forwarded to people who have attended, I think, less than 6 matches. And they were told, hey, guys, it's getting tight. Only 7 more matches at home. And you need to attend at least 10 in total. So better hurry up. And there were emails sent across to people like me who have attended. I think I've done my 10 now. We had 10 home matches and been at all of them for the Bundesliga. Just passed on the tickets for the DFB Pokal. And they are actually invited to an exclusive press conference they call Backstage. That's going to take part on the 4th of March in the VIP section of the Red Bull Arena. And they invited people who have, or they notified people who have attended more than 5 matches because they're well on the way to get the minimum amount of 10 matches. The VIP area, although, doesn't hold 28,500 people. So I think we got 28,500 tickets, but a couple of hundred. So I think they resort to the fact or to the process that they're going to give those tickets to people with the most attended matches. So I think I'm in with a good shot with 10 matches attended, maximum amount. Maybe I'll get in there. So I applied for taking part. What's going to happen is it's going to be a press conference with 2 senior RB Leipzig players. I'm glad they pointed out they're senior players and we're not getting to talk to. It would be interesting, though, to Mr. Gable and co. Now you'll be talking probably to 2 injured players, but that's all right. Well, have a chat with Benny. That'll be fun. And Sava. And they're going to do this, as I said, in the VIP area. It's going to be a chat with 2 senior RB Leipzig players. You get a tour of the stadium, and I'm sure that's done by our club legend, Perry Bräutigam. I still find it hard to call him club legend. I know we almost ran into him on our way out of the St. Pauli match. Poor guy, he had to look at us. He is a pretty famous goalie from the 80s, end of 70s, 80s, for the team FC Carl Zeiss Jena, who were in the top East German league. So he wasn't even playing in Leipzig. And he was a very good goalie at the time, very well known. Not as good as René Müller, I must admit. It wasn't as good. No, René Müller was better. I have to say that, admit that. Anyway, but I guess RB Leipzig is a young club, founded in 2009, as you know, and they needed some sort of club legend. And usually we see him, that sounds really great. We usually see him when we travel to Berlin for those DFB Pokal finals, and he's there as an official representative of RB Leipzig. But he also does, many times, he does these stadium tours. And one of our neighbors, Sina, she attended a tour recently, and he was there. And he apparently is doing a very good job. So I'm looking forward to that. But we will also be able to talk to Dominik Kaiser. Dominik Kaiser, also a club legend from the early days. And I think he scored the first Bundesliga goal in the first league, the erste Bundesliga in Hoffenheim for RB Leipzig.
That's correct. Yeah.
I should have done a trivia question. Shit, I missed my chance. Anyway, so you'll be able to talk to them. I guess there's going to be a Q&A session for, I guess everyone to talk to RB Leipzig. Pretty cool event. I'm really impressed that they're putting this on. Not sure how many people will be able to get there, but I think the chances are not so bad if you have attended all home matches. So I'll let you know if I'm going to be there. I'm not sure if I can do any audio clips, probably not, but I'll definitely tell you all about what happened there. cool thing, I think. However, I like to pick up on something else, Richard. I listened to a couple of our fellow German fan podcasts about RB Leipzig, and one of the discussion points is the people in Sector D. Now, Sector D is adjacent from the home stand, so they're behind the goal on the other side, and sometimes on TV you will see this. If they're empty seats, you will sometimes make out the initials RBL, because people don't sit on their white seats. And there are usually quite a few gaps as well. Now, this has been a problem, an issue in the last couple of years, that people looked at that. And when I was there, I was almost in that section for 10 years. I sat on my white seat, by the way, so it's not me. I talked to people, even in my row, they actually claimed, okay, we're here, guys, we're just upstairs, close to the catering, i.e. drinks, and we watch the match from up there. We can see much better anyway. We're elevated. You have a great thing there. What RB Leipzig tried to do in the last couple of years is to restrict zones close to the stands, so it makes it harder for people to stand there and follow the game because they're further away. And I think the argument was, say, people shouldn't be smoking there, something like that, security. Yeah, you can always put out health and safety, put that in the mix as well if you need it. But I guess it hasn't deterred people from not sitting on their seats and wandering around the stadium and watch the game in different ways. You know, they have tellies up there as well. You can follow the match as well. But why do you go into a stadium if you want to watch telly? Anyway, it's not even as good as directly watching it. So the gaps are still there. I'm not sure if they've closed it. Plus, you know, there was a price hike. I told you all about it last year because I was affected and I defected to a different section of the stadium. So now I'm looking at it all the time. And yes, there are sections, especially from the 60th minute, which are gaps on white seats and red seats. And that is quite annoying. And also, of course, this sector is close to the away section of fans. And most of the times it's pretty quiet in those sections from the away side because there are still clubs which boycott RB Leipzig matches, especially the active fan scene, the ultras, as they call them over here. But I actually hate it when Union supporters arrive because they're loud and they're there and they're 5,000 and 6,000. That is beautiful. Same as Frankfurt, same as Gladbach. Bremen, they're a noisy bunch, and St. Pauli was great as well. Of course, you get the animosities against us, that's fine, but at least there's a football stadium. And if you're in Sector D, you get a lot of noise from that side. And the noise traveling from Sector B, your own fans, is hard to get to you because it's further away from the pitch, and you can't really make out what they're singing over there, to be honest. And I must admit, after transferring from Sector D to closer to Sector B, some of the chants, they are in German, by the way, I do now understand. Before that, I had no clue what the heck they were talking about and singing about. I just knew the melody. And what I heard in this discussions as well in one of these podcasts is this slight critique about Sector D that we had also before, that people over there, you can't hear them, they don't do anything, and they're not on their seats. So, of course, as somebody was affected before, I could get very, very much worked up. But then I thought I turned it on its head and I put a positive spin on it, Richard. And I thought, hey, let's put it into a positive way and think of a way how Sector D could be included and be a little bit louder. So here it goes. Hold on. So we got, I always see that from the 60th minute, there are gaps appearing. And they're getting bigger in Sector B. But it's also very hard to get animated in Sector D, to really get into the game unless you have a top game, because you might be on your own. You might be on your own clapping and chanting. I'm now in Sector Block 125, which is very close. It's an upper level and close to the ultras. And I must say, people around me, they're similar. You know, it takes a while until they get going. They're quick to moan and know everything better that's happening on the pitch, of course. But in that sense, they're a little bit similar to the people who sit in Sector D. But Sector D is a little bit more challenging because you're further away, and the motor or the engine of the party and atmosphere from that, from in the stadium, from our, I don't call them ultras, let's put them official active fanzine, is very far away. And I did notice as well, and something you remarked as well, those chants that we've got, they follow a certain routine. And sometimes I feel we've got a program, they've got a program. Without it, it would be quiet. And it's great. It's great that they're there. But sometimes it feels like it's a program, there's a certain routine. And I wish sometimes we have a little bit more spontaneous chance. Something which is related to the pitch, related to the match, related to the other team, just to have a little banter. And I think we need a little bit more time to develop that. So the capo, the guy who's starting those chants and directing everybody, he's got a hell of a job because he's got to work his ass off, for more than 90 minutes. And he does a great job. And sometimes, like I pointed out in a couple of other episodes, he's the only guy singing, which is so funny. But I thought, gosh, what is happening here? Sector D, it's hard to get them involved, to get the whole stadium involved. And there's this long way of acoustics, plus they're drowned out by the away fans if they're from Frankfurt, from Gladbach, from Werder, from Bremen. So how do we get Sector D going? So I thought, when did we have a similar situation and it actually worked that an adjacent block of fans was involved by the capo, although the capo wasn't there? And I had two occasions. One was in the DFB Pokal final versus Frankfurt, for example. We were in a section of the Olympia Stadium, which is sort of separated by the Marathon Tor, which is like that gate the old gate where people would get into the stadium and the stands wouldn't follow through. And it's like the Leipzig block was separated in two parts. So how do we get those people together so they chant the same songs all the time? So in that final, what we've done, or what they've done, the fans, they put on the ground in front of those sectors, they put in speakers. So everybody could hear the capo, and it worked because the whole section got going. Even they were separated physically by that big entrance, the Marathon Tor. So that's one part. So you could think, okay, let's place some speakers in front of Sector D. Might be a bit difficult in terms of technical process. On the other hand, what worked, that is something I noticed in 2015. I think we played somewhere in the summer, second Bundesliga, we played Kaiserslautern. I think we lost 2-0. We played Kaiserslautern, and all of a sudden, in our Sector D, not Bully, the mascot, appeared. No, it was a guy with a megaphone. And the guy with the microphone said, okay, guys, today we're going to try something different. And it was a capo from the Sector B side, from the active fan scene. And this is when we started the Wechselgesang, the chants, da, la, 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 waving those scarves and chanting Leipzig in the end. So this is the way of getting Sector D involved. So this is when it actually happened. And that was excellent. That was beautiful. Now, that made me think of maybe a way of including Sector D. So just imagine, one problem is that, or challenge is that we have these empty seats and these gaps that are visible. So I thought, when in Sector B people are missing, you don't notice that quickly because people stand. And those gaps, if a couple of hundreds people are missing, you don't really notice that. So why not have 200 people from Sector B walk over to Sector D. Then they're greeted by those people upstairs who refuse to sit down on their little seats. They are greeted by them, and they will buy them a welcome drink. Maybe a nice beer. But then I thought, it's not a nice beer because it's Champagner statt Bier. Okay, so they get an alcoholic drink. That is important. And with this welcome drink and with this positive feeling, they take their seats, the empty seats in Sector D, filling them up. So the white gaps will disappear, the red gaps will disappear. And because they're in such a good mood and they know what kind of chants they need to sing, they start singing. And you know which chant always works with the whole stadium? Because we all know the works. Auf geht's, Leipziger Jungs. That takes the whole stadium. Everybody gets involved, and that's what they need to do. They just need to start chanting. They just need to do the things that they need to do when they're in Sector B. And I bet you the whole crowd will get going in Sector D. And do this a couple of times, and Sector D will not need that home support from the other fans, from the active fan scene anymore. Plus, the Sector D people might be animated to take their seats, to return their seats and take them back, and to keep the Sector B people out. Hey, I think it's a good suggestion. We should try that. We will see. We will see, but I'll love it. So, Richard, now we got a solution to that. Why don't we look at our next opponent? Knock, knock, who is it?
It's FC Augsburg, die Puppenkiste.
Again.
Again. And, you know, I like to remember this first match in the Hinrunde because that was, I think, one of the best, if not the best match that I saw from our lads the whole season. And you know what? I had some more than one victory lap afterwards because it was that particular match where I not only predicted the correct score, but the goal scorers as well. So it was the bet of my lifetime. I should have bet it. Well, but, you know, if I would bet week by week, I would have lost so many money to the day. So I'm glad
this season.
Yeah, I'm glad that I don't. But on that day, hey, I predicted 4-0 win and the goal scorers, and I was quite happy about it. And, you know, and we were just playing them off the park. And I think it's the only match we played this whole season where we had more than 2-point-something X goals. And I would be glad if we would score like 2-point-X goals, or if we score 2 goals in general, so by ourselves. And now we scored 2 goals versus Leverkusen recently, but, you know, one was deflected and the other one was, basically was an own goal by Tapsoba, I think. Mm-hmm. So, well, yeah, it felt like it was last season, and we know now we have to travel to Augsburg Friday night, and the last matches at Augsburg, well, was not that successful. You know, last season we drew 2-2, and it was that match where Openda just tried to score from a penalty, and you know, it was just the poorest try ever, you know, and we talked about it later in an episode, and everyone was wondering how the heck can you just try it so poorly? And you know, take an example. I think it was Haaland who scored on a penalty a few days later, and it was in Premier League and was Champions League. I don't remember, but anyway, but he just shot it with so much confidence that you have to felt pity with the net, right? So that you had to be anxious that he just would have shot the goal through the net and into the stands, and that. But on the other hand side, I remember a match at Augsburg, and it was in October 2022, where we actually had a draw, a 3-3 draw, but it felt like a win, you know, because it was that match where we were falling behind 3-0 late in the second half, and then it was 3-1. I think Schoboslai scored the 3-1 goal midway through the second half, and as we reached the final 5 minutes, we were still behind 2 goals. Wow. Then it was this beautiful, directly converted free kick by club legend Christopher Nkunku. And only 1 minute later, it was the other club legend, Hugo Nouveau, who scored the equalizer.
I shouldn't be laughing. I should not be laughing. I wish him well.
Yeah, according to that match that we played at Bochum, so back in those days in October 2022, we were on the other side. So and we were that side that felt like, hey, that felt like a win, although we just received a point, luckily. So, but back to the present. So much for the past, back to the present. Augsburg is doing Augsburg things this season. You know, the last 6 seasons, they finished in the league 15, 15, 13, 14, 15, and 11. So, and now they're in 12th place. Just like not really involved in some relegation issues this time, but also far, far away from anything serious ambitions into the European competitions next season. And I would like to point out two players that caught my eye in this squad. So now, I don't really want to talk about Rovalev because, this is the pivotal point in the defense, and I think it's a player you can rely on. And he is like, he remembers me of David Raum. Because when he is on the pitch and on the ball or in the near of the ball, you will always get 100% from him. But I'd like to point out two other players who caught my eye. The first one is their goalie. And, remember that they had in the net in our first match, it was Mr. Labrovic in goal, number 22, and he looked really poor. And so did he all season long. And I was like, every time I watched the Augsburg highlights on tape, I was like, okay, come on. This is not, either he's just got a bad afternoon or a bad night, or this is just not a, proper Bundesliga level goalie. And the reason that he was in goal is that the original first choice goalkeeper, Finn Dahmen, had a long time injury and returned just before the season. And obviously the coach thought, okay, maybe he was injured for too long, so let's give this other guy a chance. And then he returned in the cup matches, and after this devastating 5-goal loss at Holstein Kiel for FC Augsburg, Finn Dahmen returned. So he was back in goal in the, I think he was back in goal in the first match of the Rückrunde. And since he's back, the defensive performance was just, another level. Okay. And, we talked about him in our preview episode of our St. Pauli match. And I praised him in that episode too because of his save before the won the lead of St. Pauli. It was just magnificent because he saved a header from Philipp Treu from St. Pauli that came with like 100 kilometers per hour from like 7 or 8 meters away. And that was an outstanding save. And it was not only that, he showed some outstanding efforts in other games as well. So what I'm trying to say here is it won't get that easy. It won't be that easy that it has been in the first leg to score goals.
Okay.
Yes, I have to admit. And the other
especially since you trust our offense so greatly.
Well, I told you some episodes ago that this trust is gone completely. And, as far as I can judge for myself, this has not returned from that recent performance versus St. Pauli. I have to be honest.
Yep.
But the other guy I would like to point out here is a 19-year-old youngster. And I'm sure that not only the RBL scouting department, also a few of other Bundesliga clubs have spotted him as well. And it's their number 36, 19-year-old Mert Kömür. Actually a Turkish name, or Turkish sounds like a Turkish name, but he is a German national and he played for quite a few German youth teams. And he received some playing actions as a substitute in the first 17, 19 match days. He's not playing every week, but he played 9 weeks as a substitute. And in the most recent match versus Mainz 05, it was just dreadful to watch, to be honest, and not really much chances on both sides. But this number 36, he caught my eye because it seemed like he's very well talented and he's just enjoying playing football. He was just like, had an attitude on the pitch that he does not care about what is on stake. So, remember, hey, this is a Bundesliga match and you should be excited and you should be nervous. No, he's not. He's just having fun with the ball. And it was quite fun to watch. So, and he started actually versus Mainz 05. And it would not surprise me if we will see him again in the starting 11. But I'm almost sure, if not, that he will join the club or the squad, for some time of the game, at least 30 minutes. So number 36, keep an eye on him when he's on the pitch. What can we expect in general? the Augsburg squad got the fewest X goals of the whole league, even worse than St. Pauli, only 20.9. So RBL is not that great in that department with 28.4, also only number 9. But, the worst X goal offense of the league is FC Augsburg. Against the Augsburg squad, it looks slightly better. Only 29.0 X goals received. That's the 7th best of the league and even better than RBL. Surprise, surprise. Although our defense is not that bad in actually conceding goals, statistically, we're not that good as FC Augsburg in that category. So actually, we should have received 33.1 statistically. Okay. So, 29 is Augsburg, 33 is RBL. And I'd like to ask you a question. You know which club has the second fewest shots on goal of the whole league? Second fewest. Yeah, second fewest.
Is it us?
No, yes, it's us. It's actually us. It's RBL, yeah. The second fewest. The worst team. Second fewest. The worst team is Kiel.
We're in that category.
Yeah,
oh my God.
We have to deal with Kiel.
It's number 4. How's that even possible?
Well, so much regarding trusting the offense. And the third worst team, here's my mic drop. And the third worst team in that category is, surprise, surprise, FC Augsburg.
Unbelievable. Okay.
Yeah.
It's got to be it's got to be a dreadful match. I thought versus Union was bad.
It's well, don't expect that much. Okay, I'm sorry, but I have to tell you.
Day. Do something else, guys.
Hopefully. So to put some numbers up here, so we got 230 shots on goal. It's the second worst, I told you, and Augsburg got 234. Do you want to know what's the gold standard?
400.
Bayern Munich. Yeah, Bayern Munich, 411. 411. So almost 200 more. Okay. And it's quite a huge gap to the second place. But then, some Leverkusen, Frankfurt and Stuttgart are, logically, if you look at the table logically, the clubs just behind Bayern Munich, and they still got 320 something or 280 something. So like 100 more or even 60 more than we do. And to put this into percentages like 25-30% more, and it's quite a huge difference. Yeah. And that's a real issue and something the coaching staff, the front office have to address in the off season. And so and if I don't want to that you develop some depressions, but one thing I'd like to tell you, I have to tell you, because there's this statistic that is called SCA. It's shot creating actions. Ooh. And you can measure that in 90 minutes. So shot creating actions per 90 minutes.
Okay.
And we have the worst value of the whole league with 19.43. And no team is worse.
Really? Not even Kiel or Bochum or...
Not even Kiel. Augsburg is not that far away with 19.5, so it's just a matter of fragments.
Who wants to watch that match?
to be fair, and St. Pauli had 20. And and we talked about before the St. Pauli match why there won't be much goals. And because we are poor offensively, and St. Pauli is as well, but both squads are not that good, not that bad defensively. And guess what? The whole stats seems like, okay, we will see the same old again and again.
Do you get new vibes? This is going to be similar to that match?
Yeah. To be honest, yes. So, well, I don't want to be pessimistic here, but we are so that far away from several reasons, from this 4-0 victory that we took home in the first game. Well, and now, what's even worse is that Antonio Nusa is out for 6 weeks, with some not specific knee injury. Mm-hmm. And our captain, Willi Orban, is out because, he took one for the team. You said it. He was sent off in the red card. And so, our gaffer has to find solutions in that positions. And maybe trying some other formation as well, because I don't think that this 3 center backs worked well versus St. Pauli. It was just poor, and especially Retraider seemed to be like, not belonging to that whole unit. It was, all the time he was either late in challenges, or when we trying to create something offensively, he was just like standing in the way every time. So maybe we got 11 guys left. Should I enlighten you?
Oh, yes, please.
Liebe Fußballfans, wir kommen jetzt zu unserer heutigen Mannschaftsaufstellung.
Pete the Wall will be back, and he saved us at least. He had a huge amount of this last victory.
I agree.
And he saved so many chances, especially in the first half. And I hope that Coach Rose will return to a back 4 formation, because we, with this suspension of Willi Orban, running out of central backs. Retraider just seemed to be not in a good shape, not in good form at present. Orban not available, so we only get Lukeber, Klostermann, and Bichabu. And you don't want to start the 3 center backs and ain't got no alternative on the bench. So I hope that he will see this whole topic as I do and return to a back 4 and bring on Lukeber and Klostermann as our center backs, and then Raum obviously on the left side, because there's no one else that could play it, and Riedle Baku, and hopefully you'll see Nedjelkovic sometime in that match.
I was wondering.
I thought he had a chance to come on that pitch in that match versus St. Pauli, but I think with the red card for Willi Orban, this, maybe if there has been a plan, it was just cancelled, because you cannot send out a 19-year-old guy in the first match of the new squad, which just joined with a man shy. I would not do this as a coach.
From what I hear, he's pretty close to getting into the squad, maybe getting on the pitch. And there were some people at the public training session this week that took place at the stadium next to it. And some people actually noticed him and remarked, "We should keep him. He's full of potential. He's very good. Don't loan him out."
Yeah, but there has always been, in Germany we say Trainingsweltmeister, so world champions in practice, and not able to bring this performance on the pitch. So, I hope that this is a good player and a good addition for our squad, especially on this crucial right defensive side, where we just got no player that is as good as David Raum is on the left side, but he has to prove it.
Okay.
So, anyway, Lukeber, Klostermann, Baku, and Raume as a back 4. Haidara Campbell defensive midfield, so Nusa not around. I think the logical upcoming player after him is Baumgartner and Simmons next to him, and Shesko and Openda. And you know what? I got a bold prediction based on another stat. Based on another stat. How many players has been sent off in matches in the Bundesliga this season against RBL?
Against RBL?
Yeah.
Whoa. I don't remember. I'm going to take a wild guess and say 3.
Okay, you don't remember because you ain't got nothing to remember, because it was actually 0. So
Something's wrong there. Something's wrong there.
No, this is remarkable. So in 21 matches, no one has ever been sent off against RB Leipzig. And bear in mind that the FC Augsburg is that squad with the most yellow cards received of the whole league, 57.
Okay.
And my bold prediction here is we will see a player from FC Augsburg sent off.
Okay, you heard it here first. Is it going to help?
Obviously, yeah. Obviously, it will help. It will help. It will help us. It will help us to prevail. Yeah.
Okay. Well, we're looking forward to that. So what's your prediction in terms of score?
An ugly 1-0.
I'm going to say 2-0. I don't know where that comes from. I don't have any hope, but hey, 2-0. They got to turn this around. Great. So let's look forward to that. Keep your fingers crossed. Keep supporting them. Thank you for listening. This has been another episode of Bulls and Red, directly from Leipzig broadcasting to you wherever you are on this little planet. And we really appreciate you guys. Keep listening to us and everybody else who's joining. Do subscribe to our podcast if you like it on your favorite platform. Leave a review, give us some stars, and put in a remark if you like to in the comments. And you're able to contact us by email. Email address is podcast@bullsandred.com. Guys, have a good one. Take care. Have a good weekend. Push and support RB Leipzig. Richard, vielen Dank. Thank you, Richard. Und auf geht's, Leipziger Jungs!